here, those of us who worked with her, and many of you who heard about her and are now becoming familiar with what an amazing woman we've lost. We all know that she is with us, looking down at us, looking up at us, and urging us to be bold, vigilant, and very clear, and say that this occupation must end.
Thank you for inviting me here today to stand with you as you reflect on this 36th anniversary of the Israeli occupation of Palestine. Women in Black are close to my heart. Women in Black stand in Olympia, Washington, where Rachel lived, and I have stood with them. I have relatives and friends who stand in other cities, and two who stand with this group here in New York. Mahatma Gandhi said, "A small body of determined spirits, fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission, can alter the course of history." I believe that our small body of determined spirits is growing, and more of us become aware of the horror and the humiliation of the occupation and the violence that it brings to so many, to Palestinians, to Israelis, to Americans. On March 16th, my daughter Rachel was killed, crushed by an Israeli bulldozer while she was trying to prevent the demolition of a Palestinian home in the Gaza Strip near the Egyptian border. Rachel had written to us earlier about this place, and this is what she said. I know many of you have heard these words before, but they're special to me, and I hope you won't mind me repeating them. Today, as I walked on top of the rubble where homes once stood, Egyptian soldiers called to me from the other side of the border, "Go, go," because a tank was coming, followed by waving and, "What's your name?" There is something disturbing about this friendly curiosity. It reminded me of how much, to some degree, we are all kids, curious about other kids. Egyptian kids shouting at strange women wandering into the path of tanks. Palestinian kids shot from the tanks when they peek out from behind walls to see what's going on. International kids standing in front of tanks with banners. Israeli kids in the tanks anonymously, occasionally shouting and also occasionally waving. Many forced to be here, many just aggressive, shooting into the houses as we wander away. It's time that we help our kids to stop having to face this in the occupied territories. Rachel told us that going to Gaza was one of the most important things that she had done in her life. With the International Solidarity Movement, she spent nights sleeping at wells in Rafah to protect them from demolition. She stood between Palestinian municipal water workers trying to repair the wells and the Israeli military towers from which shots rained down, harassing the workers and internationals. She documented the destruction of olive orchards, gardens, and greenhouses, as well as the harassment that occurred at checkpoints. She learned Arabic from Palestinian children, and she helped them with their English homework. She became a friend to the people of Rafah. And she wrote to me, "Know that I have a lot of very nice Palestinians looking after me. I have a small flu bug and got some very nice lemony drinks to cure me. Also, the woman who keeps the key for the well where we sleep keeps asking me about you. She doesn't speak a word of English, but she asks about my mom pretty frequently, wants to make sure that I'm calling you." In her work, Rachel joined hands with Jewish Americans and with Israelis who oppose the occupation and are working for peace. She worked with Israeli peace activists as she tried to better understand the destruction of the Palestinian water supply. She received guidance from a reservist in the Israeli military, a father of two teenage sons, who taught her Hebrew phrases to use when she encountered the bulldozer and tank operators. Rachel died on March 16, 2003, held and comforted by her ISM friends. One was Alice, who is Jewish and has cousins in Israel whom she fears for whenever she hears of a suicide bombing. In June of 2002, Rachel wrote in some of her college work, "I think it's important for people who oppose war and repression to speak about who we are as a community, in addition to speaking about war and racism and injustice. We are not outside. I think it's important that human rights and resistance to oppression be included in the way we define ourselves as a community. Through this experience of losing our daughter, our family finds our community expanding as people reach across town, across the U.S., and across the world to let us know that they are moved by her example to work against war and racism and injustice." Our earliest emails included ads from the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, ads placed by Israeli Jews who understood why Rachel had come to Gaza, who understood why she stood up to the bulldozer that day, who understood that in her compassionate heart there was love for all humanity. Email came from the occupied territories too, from Palestinians who told us that because of Rachel, they were making a commitment to work non-violently for justice. We cherish our new connections with the community of Palestinian peacemakers. We cherish our new connections with the community of Israeli peacemakers. We cherish our new connections with all of you. We will remember these words that Rachel wrote from Gaza. This has to stop. I think it is a good idea for us all to drop everything and devote our lives to making this stop. I don't think it's an extremist thing to do anymore. I still really want to dance around to Pat Benatar and have boyfriends and make